I'm very intrigued when you say the bank has been around for like 237 years. That's pretty long time. Then it's quite amazing. So being introduced in this position in the innovation lab to innovate, I'm sure there are a lot of challenges. So from your personal experience, what were some of the toughest challenges that you have to overcome during these last 7 years in the bank?
Sure. So this is why I kind of touched on earlier that I myself go through a lot of rewiring. I think first, let's start with myself first, because again, I think key thing is when you talk about innovation, it's really is about the art of the possible, and really about how do you shift that thinking from the how to the what and the why. That is not easy, because human like to solve problem. People come to you, okay, let's figure out the solution for this. But again, a lot of time you're not really solving the right problem, or you might be just solving a symptom of the problem. So that's number one. So I myself have to hold myself, no matter how passionate I am or how eager I am to solve the problem. But you know what, Johnny? What is the what and the why? The how, it can come later. So that is one aspect. The second thing is that we all experience people. We come with our own prior experience and also way of working. The muscle memory is there. So when you talk about innovation, you really need to really come with that artist or dreamer mindset in the beginning. How to switch off your prior experience. Not saying that that's not important, but when you explore the possibilities, you really need to come in as that beginner mindset. You ask a lot of open questions, you don't have a judgment, you're not skeptics about stuff. And then when you get to execution, that's normally your past experience will become very helpful. So that is really the second thing. Again, how do you hold that two keys to that two doors and know when to switch it on and off? That is hard, right? The third thing is really about people talk about all these different ways of working. People talk about design thinking, experience design, strategic design. Then you got agile, you got data science. How do you make sense of all these things? And again, this thing cannot happen in vacuum. Great things happen when actually all these things come together. So that is the kind of stuff that I also spend a lot of time like trying to understand. Okay, you know what? This is why people talk about CX, for example, strategic design, right? It's really about building that true empathy. What is the problem we're trying to solve? Who are we solving for? Which persona? What is the aspirations for the personas? What are the values that is most important to the personas? What are the user journey of the persona that the person is having an issue? Those are strategic design stuff. And then it doesn't stop there. When you start understanding that, then you're going to start to bring it into some level of visuals where people can actually appreciate what you're talking about. And that get translated into a UX, UI kind of mock-ups. And then how do you bring it forward? You go through your usability testing and all the stuff. Then how do you pass it on next to prototyping? How do you translate it to epic user stories? And then, as usual, engineering will pick it up, whether it's data scientists and so on and so forth. So all these things, it cannot happen in vacuum. And you're going to be able to string it all together, and then you become, okay, now I see. I see what do you mean by this new way of working. It just feels so good that I don't want to go back to the past. So that is a lot of internalizations and learning. So the last bit that I just want to also add as well is that how do you then explain also all these different concepts in a way that's easy for the business, for the rest of the firm to understand? So kind of like this day, I try to explain to people what we do is that we help you to get from 0 to 1, 1 to 5, and 5 to 10. So what does that mean? As with any great things in life, it started with these 0 amazing ideas. It can happen anywhere as you're walking on the road or you're eating and you're seeing something, but then you tell your friends or you tell your colleagues, people get excited. But so what? Yes, we are excited, but again, it's so abstract, it's so high level. This is what I call zero. So then we have a program for people like that who come up with this great idea, so excited. You talk to a lot of people say, do it, it's the right thing to do. But then, so what? So we have a program that can help to get that 0 to 1. Essentially, how do you bring more clarity to that vision? How do you sharpen it? And then you can get a lot more buy-ins from people. And then once you get that, so what? Again, next. That is where I talk about 1 to 5, where you start to pick a couple of thin slices of that vision and start to build something more tangible for people to poke a hole on it and to opine on it, to give feedback. And then 5 to 10 is really is about when you sort of like, oh, I have something and I got a feedback. More people seeing it, more people get excited over it. Now, how do we start building this properly? And obviously, 10 to 100 is not what we do within the center because otherwise we all become production support and no longer able to innovate. Yeah.